elders, women and youth leaders from a majority of the communities in Kenya have met here at the All Africa Conference of Churches, AACC Conference Center from the 24th to the 26th of July 2017 to review the national preparedness for the general elections. This consultative forum was co-organized by the AACC and the National Council of Churches of Kenya. During this forum, we reflected on the scripture recorded in 1 Corinthians 12 to 26, which emphasizes that all of us Kenyans are joined together, just as the different organs are joined together to form a person's body. We especially took note of verses 25 to 26. Quote, so that there should be no divisions in the body, but that each part should have equal concern for each other. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. Unquote. We embrace the lessons of this scripture as we highlighted the centrality of peace in the nation before, during and after the general elections that will be held on 8th August 2017. Appreciating that we have only 12 days to the elections, we wish to reiterate the following messages as we champion the peace in the country.
One, no compromise on peace and security. The Constitution of Kenya 2010 provides in Article 81 E2 that Kenyans have a right to free and fair elections which are free from violence, intimidation, improper influence, or corruption. We therefore emphasize that peace and security are paramount during and after the elections. It is the responsibility of every Kenyan, individually and through institutions, to reject every provocation to violence. There is no justification for anyone to foment violence, knowing that whatever grievances they may have with regard to the elections can be addressed through the mechanisms provided for in the Constitution and the law. It is on this basis that we call upon all Kenyans to emphatically reject and refuse to vote for any candidate who attempts to provoke violence in the country. 2, participate in the elections. As clergy and elders, we call upon all eligible Kenyans to actively participate in the general elections by peacefully voting for your candidates of choice. We wish to remind you of the injunction given in James 4:17. Anyone then who knows the good he ought to do and doesn't do it sins. As a Kenyan who is aware that you are expected to vote for good candidates for the different positions, you will have sinned if you don't participate in the elections. 3, only one winner per elective position. This meeting wishes to remind all Kenyans, and in particular every voter, that there will be only one winner for each position being contested for. Do not believe a candidate who declares that he is the only one who can win the election. In democratic processes, each candidate has as high a chance of losing as of winning. As a supporter, do not get intensively, emotionally entangled with the bravado of the candidate you support or the opinion polls to the point where you will have challenges hoping should he or she not win the position. Support a candidate of your choice, but psychologically prepare that another candidate may win the position. Do not participate in violence or chaos on account of your candidate of choice winning or losing the elections.
Four, accept results announced by the IEBC. As per the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the mandate of organizing and managing elections in Kenya is bestowed on the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC. The IEBC is therefore the only body with authority to declare the results of elections in the country. We call upon all Kenyans to accept and go only by the results announced by the IEBC and not any other figures announced by any other person or body, whether identical or different. Where there is a reason for any candidate to question the results announced by IEBC, then the laid down procedures of filing a petition in court should be followed. No one has a right to cause or participate in chaos or violence on account of being dissatisfied with the results announced. With the same breath, we call upon Kenyans to celebrate candidates who win with moderation and sensitivity, that those whose candidates will lose in the contest will be hurting. On their part, we wish to remind the IEBC that the lack of information is what fuels speculation and propaganda. As such, the IEBC must ensure that there is a system to continuously update Kenyans on election results and tallies. We call upon the political parties and coalitions which has chosen to organize their own tallying centers to appreciate that the results they arrive at are their internal materials for use as they please, but not for any mobilization outside the legal structures, building bridges between communities. The nation of Kenya is made up of all the communities that live within our borders, and since the communities will continue to live with each other after the elections, we urge for the reinforcement of frameworks for peaceful coexistence. We must not handle the general election as though there are an event that will define the permanent fault lines between our communities, but merely milestones in our nation conversation. We state here our commitment that as clergy and elders, we will continue to reach out to community leaders from our neighboring communities to ensure that there are peaceful relations before, during, and after elections. We have committed ourselves to publicly denounce any candidate who attempt to instigate hatred and violence between our communities before, during, and after elections.
Six, punish offenses expeditiously. The clergy and elders gathered here today wish to remind the judiciary, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, and the IEBC of the scripture recorded in Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 11. When the sentence for a crime is not quickly carried out, that
has continued to undermine the spirit, aspirations, and provisions of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and the law. We therefore urge the judges and the magistrates in the country to speedily determine cases touching on breaches of electoral laws and make their rulings before the election. Candidates who are convicted of violating the electoral laws should be barred from participating in the elections. We also challenge the IEBC to impose harsher punishments on candidates who have breached the electoral laws. Imposing small fines on them only goes to entrench their case, their sense of invincibility. On its part, the NCIC must demonstrate impatience with those who perpetrate hate speech and incite their followers to violence across the country. The NCIC must work with all other relevant agencies to have all hate perpetrators prosecuted swiftly and robustly. 7. Women participation in the elections. This meeting notes with concern that out of the 2,507 candidates vying for the positions of President, Governor, Senator, and a Member of National Assembly, only 140 are women. It is clear from the outset that the one-third gender rule in the Constitution will not be adhered to, which will open the door for litigation after elections. Further to this, the women candidates are experiencing extreme levels of intimidation and violence. This is a major challenge since our communities are patriarchal by nature, and thus women political aspirants have greater obstacles to overcome than their male counterparts. We call upon NCIC and the National Police Service to put special focus on women candidates to ensure that they have protection as they finalize their campaigns. Any competitors who hit out against the women on this basis of their gender should be charged for the hate speech and gender abuse. This forum also wishes to raise concern with the names in the party lists that were presented to the IEBC for nominations. As clergy and elders, we know the names of the women who have been to other considerations when preparing the list. It is our hope that parties would facilitate public participation in the generation of the party lists, which would have ensured that those nominated are those who can benefit both the parties and their communities. We urge that this anomaly be remedied.
Our intervention. This meeting of clergy and elders has taken into consideration the wounds inflicted on Kenyans by repeated politically driven ethnic divisions. We thus resolved to take the following measures and strategies. 1, to work for and support the realization of one and indivisible Kenya. 2, exhort all Kenyan ethnic communities to move beyond the grievances and suspicions that have characterized their past interactions. 3, engage and provide periodic advisories to institutions and structures established by the Constitution and national laws for the promotion of national cohesion and integration. 4, establish an inter-ethnic leadership forum under the auspices of the National Council of Kenya and in partnership with All Africa Conference of Churches and other willing parties to coordinate the mobilization and civic empowerment of our communities to achieve these objectives. 5, encourage clergy, elders, women and youth to register with the IEBC as observers of the general elections before the 28th July 2017 deadline. Such observation will be on a voluntary basis and non-remunerative.
In conclusion, Kenyans are now set for the general elections to be held on the 8th August. We commend the IEBC for working tirelessly to put in place the framework for the election in a very short time while being faced by countless obstacles. We conclude our forum by urging all Kenyans to remember 4 key points. 1, participate in the general election by voting for your candidate of choice. 2, accept that there will be only one winner for each elective position, and that winner may or may not be the candidate you support. 3, accept the election results that are announced by the IEBC and encourage any who are not satisfied to file a petition in court. 4, build bridges with members of other communities, for not only will you continue to live with them after the election, but you will also lead them. We embrace for Kenya the word that Jesus spoke in the Bible: peace I live with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as of the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. That is John chapter 14, verse 27. May God bless Kenya now and always. Signed on this day, the 26th day of July 2017, at Desmond Tutu Conference Center, AACC, Nairobi, 4 on behalf of the clergy, elders, women and youth leaders present by Reverend Dr. Andre Karamanga, the General Secretary of the AACC, and Reverend Canon Peter Karanja, General Secretary of the NCCK. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take some questions from you.